Okay. Someone asked me to do a little video about weapon modding. So here we are. This is going to be like beginner shit. So if you already know how to mod a weapon, this video might not be for you. If it is, make sure to subscribe. We want 1,000 subscribers on the channel for the end of the year. I think we can do it. I think you guys can do it. 90% of you guys are not subscribed, so if you guys will subscribe, then we are fucking golden. I'm just going to jump right into it. This is not a scripted video. I didn't think about anything I'm about to say. It's just going to be a couple of questions people have asked me in the past, and a couple of things my mate Rowdy asked me to talk about. And it's going to be very simple. We're going to take the hunter as an example, right? First off, what's all this? You have weight, ergonomics, accuracy, sighting range, vertical recoil, horizontal muzzle velocity, blah blah. Durability. If it's 0, your weapon's broken. Don't pay too much attention to it. It's never happened to me. The weight, you could say the weight does something. Don't really bother with it. It doesn't really matter. Ergonomics is just how fast you can go from left to right in your screen. Basically, your normally you have your sensitivity settings on your mouse, and that does everything. In Tarkov, it actually matters how much ergonomics is on your weapon. So the higher this is, the faster you can turn around and stuff like that. Accuracy is just if you aim somewhere and you see your red dot on someone's head, is it really going to be on its head? The higher this is, the better it is, but it's not something you can control too much. It's something that is mostly just because of the weapon, and I wouldn't necessarily think too much of this. Sighting range has to do with how far away you can spot people, but you're not going to try and snipe people from a kilometer away with an MRS sight. So if you have a very long range scope here, you can see that that will change, but you won't be able to see that now. Instead of, if I do this, let's say you put a Valday, you'll see the sighting range has just doubled, right? Okay. Now, first things first. There's a couple of scopes that can just fit everywhere. This is a standard hunter, right? By the way, your recoil, vertical up and down, horizontal left to right, and then your muzzle velocity is how fast the bullet comes out, which is actually quite important for stuff like snipers. The higher this is, the faster the bullet hits the target, so the less you will have to lead your shots. Having said that, there's a couple of ways you can attach a scope to a weapon. Like, you can put a PKO6 right here. As you can see, it's like midway through the weapon, but you can also put a Cobra sight, mount or whatever on this weapon, a rail platform. Then if you put the PKO6 on, it's further towards the back. And one of the questions I've been getting is, what does that mean? Like, how does that even matter? As you can see with the PLAD mount, which is my favorite, the weapon has its sight even further to the back, and I'll show you what it means, right? So if I find parts for this, and I'm just going to purchase it like this. It's way too expensive this way, so normally I wouldn't recommend doing it like this, but since we're here, it buys all these fucking things we don't even necessarily need. But I'll show you the difference, right? This is an important thing. You enter the hideout. This is the one where the sight is like closest to us, right? But it's also like weirdly high up, but I don't mind it that way. What this means is you have the biggest side picture you can get. And if you move from left to right, you will see that it stays fairly center. Right? It does sway, but it stays in the middle. If you look at the other one, now this one has its sight in the middle of the weapon, so it wouldn't necessarily matter as much. But you will see that the side picture sways way more from left to right. And it's less accurate if you strafe. Now, if you grab a weapon like like this one will be very easy to see it with. Especially if we have this kind of scope and we put it, let's see. I'm not sure if you can actually with this sight, but you will be able to do it with a MRS sight. So let's chuck that on here. Now it's on the front. Only have to take away the monstrum. I'll show you like that. Here you go. It's all the way on the front, right? And if you move from left to right, you will see how much it actually sways and how small the side picture is. Now, for automatic weapons, I don't necessarily mind it being at the front, because it also means that because the side picture is so much smaller, it actually kicks less when the weapon kicks. So the side will I'll show you from shooting the regular hunter. This thing kicks like a motherfucker. Look at this. You see how much the side picture just goes up and down compared to this one? Yes, it's a different weapon. That's true. But trust me, even if you look at the other hunter, blah blah blah. I'll chuck this mag in there. Put back the MRS sight, and then jump back in. It kicks up way less, but you also have less of a side picture of the scope. So I like mine with a long-range weapon to be like this. But that's just personal preference, right? So that's this side position. There's also other stuff I'd like to show you. Let's say we grab a regular AK. There's a couple of things, right? Just very quick. Your stock controls most of your recoil. If you ask me, if you had to change one thing out for an AK, look at that, takes away almost 40. Another thing that's very good for every automatic weapon is a PWS. Takes away another 25. And then the third thing I always recommend you do is put a foregrip on the weapon. And that's basically your entire weapon done. Like this way, it's already a good weapon. 15k for a PWS, 15k for this RGB, 10k for that. And like, how much is this? This stock, 17. Even only 11 for the PWS and only 7.5 for the Magpul if you can buy it from Peacekeeper, right? So this is just something I wanted to tell you guys right away. And other than that, which scope fits on the weapon is entirely dependent on the weapon. So normally if you have a hunter, let's say you have a hunter, right? If you have this TT in front here, where you fit your weapon, you will only be able to put a very small sight on there. But if you take that away, and you grab something like a Cobra mount, or whatever, then you are able to put like all the scopes you can think of, the bigger ones as well. So that's something to keep in mind. I know loads of you guys like this Monstrum a lot. The only way you can fit that on is either you need to have a big rail on there. With the Hunter, it goes like that. You can put it on a tri-rail with a Mosin, but you will definitely need something to put it on. A thing to keep in mind, if you don't have that, you can see on each weapon you can use this on, a mount to the side here. So with an SKS, it doesn't have this, but the OP SKS does. And that's how you figure out if you can put the weapon, the sight on there. So here you have a OP SKS. Edit the preset. This is my favorite build for the OP SKS. I have a video about it as well on the channel. If you take away this, you will be able to see that you can put a mount on the side here. This is normally on its standard. Sorry, I took away too much. this little thing, this little metal bit is always on there. It's part of the body normally. So that's where you fit on one of these mounts. I'll tell you why I enjoy the Cobra so much. It's because you can put the laser sight on the side of the weapon. And I just think that's something that's very cool. Because if you take the weapon out and you look at it, you'll be able to see that the laser is a little bit to the left, but it's also still fairly easy to spot, and it just looks cool on the weapon. You have no trouble aiming just by using the laser sight. And it takes away a little bit of money you normally otherwise have to spend to get the laser sight on there. So understand that this video is a little bit of a weird video. I just talk about some random stuff people might have questions about. I do hope you enjoy it though. It was mostly about the sight position, but it's also just a bit of general tips. It's really hard to explain modding like from A to Z, if you will. If you have any questions after watching this video, please make sure to either drop them in the comment section down below. I don't mind making these kinds of videos, just talking about a couple of questions you guys have in the Discord or in the comment section. So make sure to do that. I want to thank you guys for watching. If you did like it, please subscribe to the channel. It means a lot to me and it helps you guys to get notifications if I make a new video. So thank you. Eddy out.